All right. Nutrition information presented by Jose, Maria, Nicole, and Angel. God Lord. Key terms: glycemic index, a system that ranks foods on a scale of 1 to 100 based on their effect on blood sugar levels. Fullness load, food that contains fat, sugar, and or starch. Vitamins, essential nutrients that are a organic compound. Fats, a naturally oil or greasy substance occurring in bodies, especially under the skin. ND rating is the nutrition density of a food that is on a scale of 5 out of 5. Completeness score, foods that are both nutritious and filling, ranked on a scale of 1 to 5. Amino scores, a method of evaluating the score of proteins, range from 1 to 200. Minerals, a chemical compound not typically produced by natural process. Carbohydrates, a large group of compounds occurring in foods, and proteins, a nitrogenous compound composing a chain of amino acids. Most healthy foods, these are the foods that we ranked depending on their ND rating or fullness score. These are foods that are most essential and healthy for you.
Vegetable juice cocktail is a valuable source for the body. Its ND rating is a 4.5 out of 5, and fullness factor is a 4.3 out of 5, ranging from foods that are high in carbohydrates are 88%, as in foods that are low in protein are 8%. The fats are consisted of 4%. The glucose level is at 3, which really helps with health at a very high level. Contains such vitamins such as vitamin A, 75%, vitamin C, 112%, and vitamin K, 16%.
So, number 2, we have Chinese broccoli. As you know, broccoli is very fibrous, meaning the fibers in the food get you full very quick. So it comes to no surprise that Chinese broccoli has a fullness factor of 4.5 and a ND rating of 5 out of 5, so it's very healthy. Since this is a cooked cuisine, it is 60% carbs, 27% fats, and a staggering 13% proteins. It is loaded with vitamin K and A. Vitamin K helps the body responding to injuries, and vitamin A deals with the recovery from sicknesses. Broccoli has a very high fullness factor, and this just means that within a little serving you can get full, and in return this leads to eating less and resolves weight loss.
Number 3 is watermelon. Watermelon contains a fullness factor of 4.5 out of 5, and the ND rating is a 3.8. This fruit is very low in saturated fat, cholesterol, and sodium. It is also a good source of potassium and a very good source of vitamin A and vitamin C. The glycemic load is 3 out of 250, which is also good for heart health and bone health. Number 4 is cucumbers. Cucumbers has a fullness factor of 4.5 and an ND rating of 4.2 out of 5. The positive things about cucumbers is that it is low on saturated fat and cholesterol and sodium. Since it's low on saturated fat, you are also at a low risk of a disease and stroke. Cucumbers also contains a good amount of vitamin C, which is very healthy for your body. Number 5 is baby carrots. Baby carrots contain lots of calories, which become sugars. Baby carrots also contain lots of good things like vitamin C, vitamin B, C. Carrots have a fullness factor of 4.1 and an ND rating of 4.4 out of 5. Baby carrots contains lots of vitamin C and vitamin B, C. This helps form the body and to maintain a connective tissue.
Melon contains a fullness factor of 4 out of 5, an ND rating of 3.1. This food is low in sodium and very low in saturated fat and cholesterol. It is also a good source of vitamin B, folate, and potassium, and a very good source of vitamin C. The glycemic load is a 0 out of 250, also boosts your immune system to fight off bacteria and illness.
moderately healthy. These are foods that you wouldn't really normally eat a lot, just because that they're not so great for you, but they're not the worst. So number seven, we have potatoes. This is an unhealthy type of food. Um, its ND rating is 2.5 out of 5 and a fullness factor of 4.0, which is a satisfying meal but not very healthy. Its fats contain 1% fats and contains 7% of proteins, and it gives you 90%, 92% of carbs. Sorry. Its glucose level still remains low, 29, gives you, which gives it a good rating. It contains such vitamins: vitamin C, 48%, and vitamin B6, 21%.
Asian pears. Asian pears have a fullness factor of 3.7 and ND rating of 2.7 out of 5. This fruit is also very low in saturated fat, cholesterol, and sodium. Saturated fat is something that can lead in disease or a stroke is you have a lot of it. But Asian pears contain little of sodium helps regulate your body fluid balance.
So number nine, we have kale, and this is raw. Kale has a fullness factor of 3.5, which is decent, but nothing close to spinach or other healthy things. Um, Kale is very high in ND rating, which is also a 5 out of 5, so it's full. This contains 72% carbs, 12% fats, and 16% proteins. It has a very low glycemic load, 3 out of 100, meaning it puts less insulin in your body, which results in a reduce of diabetes at an older age.
Number 10 is apples. Apples have a fullness factor of 3.4 and an ND rating of 2.4 out of 5. Apples contain saturated fat, cholesterol, and sodium. Apples contain saturated fat, but a very low percentage, which is not good, not super healthy, but not risky. Apples also contain cholesterol, which is good and bad depending on how much you consume. Too much is bad, but enough is good.
Number 11, we have grapes. Grapes contain a fullness factor of 3.0 out of 5. This food is low in sodium and very low in saturated fat and cholesterol. It is also very good. It's a good source of vitamin C, also an ND rating of 2.3. It also contains 100% carbs, 0% of fats, and 0% of proteins. It has a glycemic load of 10 out of 250. They also have the highest antioxidant abilities. The nutrients in grapes may help protect against cancer, eye problems, cardiovascular disease.
Cooked onions without salt have an ND rating of 3.7 out of 5 with a fullness factor of 4.5 out of 5, which is I consider this being a full meal, but not as healthy. Its fats contain 3%, which leads to its protein that contains 8%. It contains 89% of carbs. Its glucose level gives it a 0, which is very low and good enough. It contains no source of vitamins, but very low percentages.
Veggie Burgers has a fullness factor of 2.6 and an ND rating of 3.9. Veggie Burgers contains a little amount of cholesterol, which is good for your body. Veggie Burgers also contains dietary fiber, which benefits people that struggle with constipation.
Raw bananas. Although bananas are a natural fruit, they are not much healthy, and different than cooked meat. They have a low fullness factor of 2.5 and an ND rating of 2.8. These are of course rated out of 5, so it is not great, but definitely not the worst. They're high in potassium and vitamin A. Bananas have a low glycemic load, which can cause diabetes later on. Or yeah, they have a low glycemic load, which can cause diabetes later on in life. Now, these are the worst foods to eat, meaning that, you wouldn't want to eat these at all because they put so much bad stuff into your body, which resolves in weight gain and unhealthiness. So, number 15, we have cooked beef. As most people loved meat because of the taste and texture and etc., it is also very bad for your body. One of the reasons being it clogs up your blood cells and leaves blood to travel nowhere. It has a 2.4 fullness factor and a 2.0 ND rating, which is very unhealthy. It contains 67% carbs, 33% proteins, no vitamins.
Avocados contain a fullness factor of 2.1 out of 5. It is also very low in cholesterol and sodium. It is also a good source of dietary fiber, vitamin C, vitamin K. An ND rating of 3.5 is also it also has 19% carbs, 77% fat, and 4% of protein. Avocados helps your skin, hair, and nails. And it's also very high in potassium, which helps lower your blood pressure.
This is a very healthy food to eat. Its ND rating is 4.0 out of 5, and fullness factor 2 out of 5, which is not a full serving, which will not fill your body in a healthy way. Its fats contain of 2% as its carbs hold 92% and gives 6% of protein, and glucose level contains of 1 out of 250, which is a good stage to be. Uh, has no healthy vitamins of any kind. I'll refer to 0%.
Marmalade oranges. Marmalade oranges contain a fullness factor of 1.5 out of 5 and have an ND rating of 1.4. It has a glycemic load of 117 out of 100. This means that it obtains more insulin in your body, which will further on in life lead to diabetes. This has 100% carbs and 0% proteins and fats. They obtain a rich source of vitamin C, which is bursting with antioxidants. They help the body form and maintain connective tissue. Some of these tissues include bones, blood vessels, and skin.
Donuts are full of fat. They also are not good for your heart, which means you're consuming lots of saturated and trans fats. It also increases your cholesterol and triglycerides. Has a total of 51% carbs and 43% fat. The glycemic load is 4 out of 250. The fullness factor is 1.5 out of 5.
Peach pie. This is not to be a very unhealthy food. It is an ND rating is a 1.7 out of 5. And its fullness factor is a 1.0, which is not an absolute delight of a full meal or a healthy one. Its fats hold 39%, which is tragic. It contains 3% of protein and holds 58% of carbs. Its glycemic load gives it a 19 out of 250, which is very low. It holds very little vitamins such as vitamin A, 3% vitamin C, 2% vitamin E, 5% vitamin K, 5%. That's it.